Hi, everybody. Thank you, Diane, for inviting me to speak at this event. It should be a lot of fun. I'm a big fan of the work that you and your team do, and I'm here to talk about Tableau. The point of my talk is not really to tell you that Tableau is the best tool or that it's perfect for all of your data visualization needs. I'm talking about it because it's the tool that I know. It's the tool that I know best. And I have always been able to find a solution using Tableau to do all sorts of visualizations. Okay, so this is me. I'm Neil. I'm from Alfreton, which is a very unremarkable place right in the center of the UK. And I'm representing Tableau really as a Tableau visionary. It's kind of a community recognition, if you like. So somebody who's not necessarily the best at Tableau, although I have bits that I'm relatively good at, but it just means that I'm an advocate. I love to share what I do, get stuff out in public, and to help and support those who are interested in using Tableau. And the Hall of Fame just means that I've been doing it for a long time and I'm getting quite old. All right, this is Tableau. You may recognize the logo there. You might be less familiar with the From Salesforce bit underneath. Tableau were bought by Salesforce a few years ago, but they've still maintained the same identity within that. Their motto, isn't that the right word? Anyway, is that Tableau help people see, understand, and act on data. It always used to be see and understand their data. I think they've added act as more and more perhaps AI capabilities get added on to what Tableau can offer. The possibly best thing about Tableau, in my opinion, is Tableau Public. Tableau Public is absolutely free, which enables you to download Tableau to use on your desktop. You can use any freely available data that you don't mind going up out there onto the internet. And it's a fully functional version of Tableau. And as you can see from the marketing on the site here, it's a great opportunity to learn, get inspired from all the other Tableau stuff that's out there, and even to sort of to share and download and see some of the other examples of Tableau Public out there. And it really sort of grows your portfolio. It really helps to upskill yourself. So I thought I'd sort of talk about Tableau and data visualization, where it all kind of fits in. I should do this visually, really. So let's start by looking at what Tableau can do. Tableau is a traditional BI package. 90+% of people who use Tableau, that is what they will use it for. And they will use it to make charts a little bit like that. There's no need for the majority of people to use Tableau kind of outside of that particular bubble. I mean, if you have a look here, this is a chart that probably took me, or it did take me, less than 1 minute to create. Drag, you can drop, you can choose what you want to compare. So I've just used the data set that comes with Tableau to look at sales per month over those 4 years. So it's really good, really accessible for something quick and easy like that. But there's an overlap. Tableau's got so much more capability than that. I've sort of called it visualization, storytelling. It really what incorporates the design elements of Tableau. So you can look at a kind of what would fall in the intersection there. I've come up with an example here. Again, this is a simple bar chart, one that I created quite a few years ago, but it just shows that you can add best practices, you can add colors, you can add decent text, you can keep to all the good principles, you can add additional elements such as we have different averages and icons and things like that. And there's so many different ways that you can turn a 30-second drag and drop chart into something that looks a lot more simple and a lot easier for people to understand the message and take from that. So that's where Tableau's strengths really kind of lie. And then if you go further into that other yellow section here, there's a big focus on creating the viz, if you like. So those curated examples of getting a lot of visualizations together, trying to tell a story, in this case within a very long form dashboard, using design skills. This particular example, let's show you it broken down into 3 there. You can see how the author here is Chris Westlake, and he's brought in all sorts of different chart types to call out different elements of data, to highlight a particular social good cause. And this was Chris's entry into the annual Iron Viz competition. And actually, poor Chris, he knows I was going to show his viz today. He probably didn't know I was going to show his grinning face today. But Iron Viz is a competition run by Tableau at the annual conference. This particular one was in San Diego, and they run it every year. And the idea being you have 20 minutes to really kind of show off what Tableau can do and create something amazing. It's a huge marketing opportunity, and it really highlights again within the conference what Tableau can do. But, both Chris and I work in the same company. It really kind of shows this is the core strength of Tableau. If you can explore, if you can gain design skills, if you can sort of take part in the visualization designing elements of the community, you can really use those skills to take them back, if you like, into the red area of traditional BI, of making those charts look better, of making those charts perform better, and of making those charts into sort of really good, actionable dashboards. And it's this kind of overlap of the red and yellow that really sort of forms the core of the great strength of Tableau. So this is what really sort of most users will focus on. Your power users over on the right there, and the very traditional users on the left. But I mean, you might have noticed that I've used sort of two of the big colors today and left a big gap on the bottom there. I really want to consider that overlap of more stuff that Tableau can do. And I'm never quite sure what to call it. I've called it data art / unconventional. This is my favorite circle. This is what I love that Tableau can do. When I started in data visualization, I saw what was out there, and I wanted to be the next Georgia Lupi or Stephanie Posavec or Nadia Bremer or Nick Ruger or Sonia Kuipers. And the more people I say, the more people I'm missing out. So I do really apologize. But it came clear to me that it is possible to get Tableau to do pretty much most things that you want to do. You can emulate the unconventional, you can emulate the data, you can emulate those things that don't come straight out of the box in the normal Tableau usage. So let's fill some more in. Here in this gap between data and storytelling, well, let's see that a bit closer. This came out about 2016 when I was first getting into Tableau. And the reaction to most people, this was, wow, Tableau can do this? That's amazing. That was nothing like anything I could do out of the box. Some great examples of all sorts of curves and visuals and all sorts of different graphics hidden in there. Analysis of the Beatles, such a great fun visualization. And visitors like this inspired me and many people to see what we could do. For completely unconventional there, that doesn't overlap with anything, I've put a kind of a close-up of one of my own visualizations. I decided I wanted to look at Premiership football clubs, and I wanted to visualize them as flowers. I really just wanted to come up with something artistic, something geometrical, something colorful, with no storytelling or analytic value, but something that was creative and unconventional and artistic, that was generated by data. And this you can do in Tableau as well. So what goes in the middle? It's a quick plug that represents me, my blog, and my book. I'd like to sort of delve into all of these kind of areas of data visualization. Now, my book, I'm not here to plug it, but my book has nothing to do with Tableau. Tableau happens to be the tool that I use. My book is all about emulating new ideas and new things that I wanted to create within data visualization, whether they sort of initially lived inside or outside or any of those circles. And along with that, I found out about the modular information design stuff that Superdot had done. So you can see here, let's look a little bit closer. This was an example of their initial Kickstarter sales, I think, but done in Superdot style, where all of the different examples they came up with, examples of the different types of modular design. So they have different design types for data dimensions, for diagrammatical dimensions, for visual dimensions, and this all sort of gives you all these different opportunities. Something that looks very unlike what you might have seen before, but I absolutely love this. And I took it to myself, I thought, well, can I move that right there? Can I do that in Tableau? And spoiler alert, I did do that in Tableau, and I'm sure perhaps this is why I'm the Tableau guy talking here, who really wanted to replicate this modular information design within the Tableau BI tool, because it really resonated with me as a pretty sort of unconventional, artistic, and a really good way to show this particular data. So what we'll do, we'll go into a little bit of detail as to how I've been able to do that in Tableau, but not much, because I appreciate I'm sort of taking the time sort of explaining the capabilities. But before I do that, here's an additional slide. Just for those of you actually who don't know about the modular information design stuff that I'm talking about, this is the book and the poster behind it, which is the Superdot book about modular information design there. So you can see all the different sort of 40-something ways of displaying data. So this is what I came up with. Maybe I thought that by going cyan, yellow, and pink instead of red, green, and blue, it wouldn't look too much like a homage to their original work. I found some data, and my data was data from my family, my wife, my son, and me, and 365 days worth of Wordle results in 2022. I thought that would be a lot of fun. I thought there would be lots of different ways I could visualize them in kind of modular information design style. And sure enough, I did. Let's look at going a bit closer. So this one on the left, I displayed them as blocks in either single color or shared color, depending on the winner, and kind of arranged them so that we could see all 365 results there. And throughout, we have the color scheme for each of the winning players there. And on the right, I decided to put everything in radial arrangement. Radial is one of the sort of the examples that modular information design will come up with as well. And again, like with all of these, and what really sort of resonated with me and my preferences is all about deconstructing and showing disaggregated data. So looking at complex data and showing it in a disaggregated way. A couple more, there's a lot of people in my industry who hate pie charts. Well, there's several hundred pie charts on this table, again, disaggregated in different ways. So we can see that real sort of breakdown of winners and joint winners on each day, including one kind of arranged round in a hexagon there. So just what I'm talking about, I have some sort of standard slides when I talk about Tableau, which kind of explains how it influences me to use Tableau, the tool, to create geometric stuff, data. And the clue is kind of here already. Some of you may be familiar with this. Probably most of you will recognize this as Pete Mondrian, who he did this just over 100 years ago. And I mean, I think to an English guy, the word Tableau is more of a coincidence that this is actually called Tableau number 1. And I look at the thing on the right, I think that could be one of my visualizations. I love blocks and colors and art in that kind of sense. And if you actually even look at the word, so in English, so obviously it's a borrowed French word, but if you look at it in terms of English, we look at Tableau, this is defined as a picturesque grouping of persons or objects to a striking scene. So Tableau is all about sort of getting objects together and creating your scene like that. But then if you look at it, you see I've looked at the French definition here. There's a lot more translated French versions here for me, and it's highlighted the board. So we're talking really about the blank drawing board here, the blank slate. So it really allows me to think of Tableau as your blank slate to create a striking scene, a visualization scene, or it's your carte blanche, literally. It's your blank sheet of paper, and I think of it further as your blank sheet of graph paper. So when you think about what Tableau can do, it was explained to me sort of quite early on, which I thought was brilliant, that Tableau, if you can draw it, then so can Tableau. But Tableau only does things very basically. It can plot a point, and it can draw a line between 2 points. And if those points form a shape, it can color them in. That's pretty much all it can do. It can also put, if you've got some predetermined shapes, like whatever you might load in or images, it can put them on as well. But that's pretty much it. And it will just draw those lines in a sequence that you tell it to. So what it can't do, if you're doing that, is plot more than 1 point per data record. So anything you're doing conventionally, it'll put so on a scatter plot, it will put your data record on the sheet in a particular place. It can't draw circles or draw curves. So really what you have to do is specify lots of particular points and color them in. Not color them in, and join them together. So for a circle, you probably want 20, 30, 40 points, all to make a polyhedron, a polygon with a lot of sides, which actually looks like a curve or a circle. So what it usually means is data scaffolding. And just a really simple way of describing that is you need more than one copy of each data record. And that usually means you need to union the data with itself a number of different times, and then give each copy of it a different record, a different mark. So usually a path, 0, 1, 2, that kind of thing. So if you know you want to do sort of specific lines for every record, you're going to need 2 copies. If you know you're going to do curves and circles, you need a lot of different copies there. So you're just building up extra copies of the data. So once you know that, you really just sort of break down Tableau to work in a way that it wasn't necessarily intended to do. So this is probably the easiest one to explain just in a couple of minutes, the radial chart that I showed. And, excuse me, This goes down to considering Tableau as a graph paper. I just had to think, right, X and Y, how do I want to plot this? I probably should have had X and Y the other way around, but it's a circle, so it doesn't matter. And once I've decided that, I want to do something that's out of the box, it really means that I have to decide exactly where every single point of data needs to go. But that's okay. I've converted every data point into an X and a Y, and I need 2 points for every data point. I need the inner part of each line and the outer part of each line. So over on the right there, you can see possibly that I've got a path variable, and I'm just filtering in 2 of those. So all I'm doing is I'm sort of making a scatter plot of X and Y and joining in each line for each data point. My color mark over at the left there says winner. So the color is based on the winner. The names, Claire, James, Neil, over on the right, and gray if there was no overall winner. And the level of detail is number. And number is just what I've used in order to describe each game. So I think the first one was something like number 1, and the last one was number 1366 or something like that. So I'm not doing a live demo or anything like this. I'll do a very quick bit of simple code, which I've shown how you have to do this. And it's just a matter of, right, I'm treating this as graph paper. I'm determining the X and Y of every part that I want to use. So for both X and Y, you can see I've had to remember a bit of schoolboy trigonometry there. I can do it at my age. I guess most of you can do it if you're younger than me. I just had to remember sine and cos for X and Y multiplied by the length of the line, and that gave me all the position that I wanted, knowing that each of these was actually plotting 2 different points. So if I look at the bottom right one first, line length. Well, line length was actually, it was going to be a small length, so just a spacer amount. So that's the amount I decided to make it from the middle. If it was path 0 and if it was path 1, it was longer. It would be made longer by the number of guesses. And then to actually determine the angle on the top left, all I'm doing there is working out how round the circle it needs to go, depending on how close it is to the bottom number or the top number. So I don't want to go into sort of huge amounts of detail there, only to show you this is probably one of the simplest examples of I want to do something bespoke. I want to do something geometrical and tell it what I'm going to do rather than use the preset functions. And I'm going to use a bit of simple mathematics and trigonometry and things like that in order to determine how I want to put it in on X and Y and how I want to join everything together. And then I've obviously got a number of similar examples to that. And all this fits really nicely with modular information design.
2 minutes.
2 minutes is literally my last slide here. This last slide is really just to say some of the extra clever things that I haven't got time to talk to you about here in Tableau that can cut some more corners for you that can really help. First one, map layers. It's a relatively new functionality which just enables you to cheat. It's the intention is for you to be able to layer up different layers of data on top of a physical map. But you can use that even if you're not using a map. You can just convert all of your data positions onto an imaginary map and then make that map invisible. And then lo and behold, so long as you've made the calculations correct and put them on top of each other in the right place, you can then lay out lots of transparent layers above each other to really enable you to build something more complex. The second one, Tableau extensions, something I'm yet to try, but I'm excited at seeing what the community is doing. A lot of non-native chart types were very complex, something like a Sankey diagram. I told you, how many different versions you need and to plot every single point in a curve. There's some great work being done in the community. If you check out dataviz, which is a company run by Tristan Gouvin and Jessica Bautista, they're coming up with some amazing shortcuts which you can then just import into Tableau at the click of a button on a quick drag and drop. You can do things like B-swarms, Sankey diagrams, network diagrams, which weren't part of part of the initial capability of Tableau. And then just to sort of follow up on that, I've called it Tableau Community. In short, if ever anyone does something cool on Tableau, they will blog it, they will show it, they will put it up on Tableau Public, so you'll be able to see how it's done. You'll be able to look at the blog, and so long as you attribute people, show who you're inspired by, do it fairly, you can really grow and you can really learn some clever stuff there. So many of what I've learned over the years, I've found from or taken inspiration from what other people in the Tableau community have done. And every so often people tell me some of the stuff that they've borrowed from what I've done as well, so that we can really we just grow and grow in terms of what Tableau is capable of doing. So it's really moved on from a drag and drop bar and line chart to something that can really, with very little coding knowledge at all, allow you to do some cool stuff, such as emulate your favorite modular information design stuff. So that's it from me. Thank you for allowing me to come and talk. You can see my LinkedIn and socials if you want to contact and find out a bit more. And if you're curious as to what that QR code does, I won't stop you finding out right now.